Close your eyes for a moment and picture a landscape bathed in the golden light of an ancient sun. Imagine a desert stretching endlessly, yet broken by an impossible sight. Colossal mountains of stone rising with stark precision against the horizon, defying time itself. These are the Great Pyramids of Giza, structures so immense, so perfectly aligned, that they have captivated human imagination for thousands of years. But have you ever truly wondered about the whispers held within their colossal stones? Have you ever pondered the sheer audacity of the vision that brought them to life, or the countless hands that toiled under the fierce Egyptian sun? Tonight, we embark on an extraordinary journey, a narrative woven from the very fabric of ancient Egypt. We will peel back the layers of sand and myth to uncover the incredible story of how these wonders were conceived, constructed, and imbued with sacred purpose. Prepare to meet the pharaohs who commanded their creation, to understand the profound beliefs that drove an entire civilization, and to marvel at the ingenious, yet often simple, techniques that allowed them to move mountains. We'll delve into the lives of the builders, dispelling old myths and revealing the surprising truths about their dedication. And as we journey through time, we will confront the enduring mysteries that still cling to these monumental tombs, from hidden passages to the chilling tales of curses that have haunted those who dared to disturb their eternal slumber. This is more than just a history lesson, it's an immersive tale of faith, engineering, human endeavor, and the timeless echo of a civilization that built for eternity. Get ready to step into the heart of ancient Egypt, where the impossible became reality. Part 1. The Divine Decree and the Vision of Eternity. The sun, a blazing orb in the azure sky, beat down relentlessly on the fertile ribbon of the Nile. For millennia, this life-giving river had nourished the crops and the lives of the people, shaping their very existence. It was the early part of the Old Kingdom, a time roughly 4.5 millennia ago, when Egypt was more than just a kingdom. It was a living manifestation of the divine order itself. At its sacred heart stood the pharaoh, the god-king, the earthly embodiment of Horus, destined to become Osiris, the revered ruler of the underworld, upon his death. The very stability and prosperity of Egypt, its bountiful harvests, and the annual, life-sustaining inundation of the Nile were believed to depend entirely on the pharaoh's successful transition into the afterlife. Should his journey be hindered, should his spirit falter, chaos might engulf the land. The delicate balance of cosmic order and justice would be irrevocably disrupted, plunging Egypt into darkness. The pyramid, therefore, was not merely a tomb, a resting place for a mortal king. It was a colossal celestial stairway, a sacred mountain, a cosmic launchpad designed with meticulous precision to facilitate the pharaoh's ascension to the realm of the gods and ensure his eternal well-being. A successful ascent meant he could continue to intercede on behalf of his people, guaranteeing their prosperity, protecting them from all calamities, and securing the continued favor of the divine. The pyramid was the ultimate guarantee of cosmic harmony and national prosperity, a promise of eternity etched in stone. This profound theological belief, this unshakable faith in the divine nature of their ruler and the cyclical journey of the soul, was the bedrock upon which the pyramids rose. Each stone, it was believed, was infused with spiritual significance, a testament to the collective devotion of an entire civilization. The specific pharaoh who commanded the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the largest and most iconic of them all, was Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops. He was the second king of the 4th dynasty, a lineage of rulers who possessed immense power, centralized authority, and access to unprecedented resources, far beyond what any previous monarch had commanded. Khufu's predecessors had already embarked on ambitious pyramid projects, refining the art of monumental construction. Djoser, the first king of the Third Dynasty, had commissioned the revolutionary step pyramid at Saqqara, a monumental structure that broke away from earlier, flat-topped mastaba tombs, reaching for the sky in a series of ascending steps. Then came Sneferu, Khufu's own father, a truly prolific builder who experimented tirelessly with various pyramid forms, culminating in the magnificent bent and red pyramids at Darsha, meticulously refining the techniques of smooth-sided pyramid construction. But Khufu's vision was to transcend all that had come before, to build a monument that would literally touch the heavens and stand for all time, a testament to his divine power and Egypt's unparalleled might. This wasn't just a tomb, nor simply a grand architectural feat. It was a profound statement etched in stone, visible from miles away, proclaiming the absolute majesty of Khufu and the eternal strength of his unified kingdom. The sheer scale of the undertaking, the audacity of the vision, must have been unfathomable to the ordinary Egyptian, a divine decree that would redefine the very landscape and consume the efforts of an entire generation. Part 2. The Army of Builders, Manpower and Organization. To construct such a colossal edifice, one that would stand for millennia, required more than just a grand vision. It demanded an unprecedented level of human organization, logistical brilliance, and a staggering amount of manpower. For centuries, a popular image has persisted, perpetuated by later Greek historians like Herodotus and reinforced by Hollywood epics, of tens of thousands of chattel slaves toiling under the lash, forced to build these monumental structures. However, archaeological evidence, meticulously unearthed over decades, including extensive workers' cemeteries discovered near the Giza Plateau, tells a very different story. It points instead to a highly skilled, well-fed, and remarkably well-cared-for workforce. These were not chattel slaves, bought and sold as property, but free Egyptians, a diverse mix of permanent skilled craftsmen, brilliant engineers, meticulous scribes, dedicated quarrymen, and specialized laborers, whose ranks were augmented by thousands of seasonal workers. The absence of any slave revolts or mass graves, indicative of forced, brutalized labor, coupled with the evidence of organized, well-provisioned settlements, strongly refutes the slavery narrative. In fact, the very idea of building such precise and complex structures with a resentful, unmotivated slave labor force is highly improbable. Such a feat demanded dedication, skill, and a shared purpose. Estimates of the total workforce vary among Egyptologists, but historical and archaeological consensus suggests a core team of perhaps 20,000 to 30,000 men at any given time, though some theories propose numbers as high as 100,000 rotating laborers during peak construction periods. These men were organized into a highly disciplined and efficient hierarchy, reminiscent of a military operation, with clear chains of command and specialized roles. There were permanent, highly skilled professionals who managed the project year-round, master architects who translated the pharaoh's vision into tangible plans, engineers who calculated the precise angles and alignments, scribes who meticulously recorded every stone moved and every ration distributed, and overseers who managed the vast workforce with an iron fist, yet also with a clear understanding of their well-being. These overseers, often trained in mathematics and logistics, ensured that the right materials arrived at the right place at the right time, a monumental logistical challenge in itself. The secret to mobilizing such a massive workforce lay in the annual rhythm of the Nile. During the 4-month inundation season, When the river flooded its banks and agricultural work became impossible, thousands of farmers, otherwise idle, would join the construction effort. This provided a productive outlet for their labor during a period of agricultural inactivity and served as a profound form of national service, binding the kingdom together in a shared, sacred goal. These seasonal workers were typically grouped into gangs or files, each with a distinctive and often colorful name, such as drunkards of Menkora, friends of Khufu, or craftsmen of the crown. This clever system fostered a powerful sense of camaraderie, identity, and even friendly competition among the different work teams, transforming arduous labor into a collective endeavor. They were motivated not by fear of the lash, but by religious duty, national pride, and the promise of a stable livelihood during the off-season, receiving compensation in the form of food, shelter, and sometimes even a small wage. This was a civic duty, a contribution to the divine order that ensured Egypt's prosperity. The well-being of these workers was remarkably considered for the era, a testament to the sophisticated organization of the state. Archaeological finds at the lost city of the pyramid builders near Giza reveal extensive workers' villages, complete with large-scale bakeries that produced thousands of loaves of bread daily, vast butchering areas for cattle, sheep, and fish, and numerous beer breweries. Workers received regular rations of bread, beer, and protein, indicating they were well fed to sustain the demanding physical labor. In fact, their diet was often superior to that of the average Egyptian farmer, providing the necessary calories and nutrients for their strenuous work. Medical facilities, including rudimentary hospitals, have also been discovered within these settlements, showing evidence of bone setting, amputations, and other treatments, suggesting a practical approach to keeping the workforce healthy and productive. Skeletons found in the workers' cemeteries show evidence of healed fractures and successful surgeries, indicating that those injured on the job received care and were not simply left to die. This level of care and organization highlights that this was not merely forced labor but a centrally organized national undertaking, a form of state-sponsored public works project that bound the kingdom together in a shared, sacred goal, reinforcing the absolute power of the pharaoh and the profound unity of the Egyptian state. The scribes, with their intricate hieroglyphic records, meticulously documented everything from the number of blocks quarried and transported to the precise rations distributed, reflecting an astonishing level of bureaucracy, planning, and logistical mastery that underpinned this grand endeavor. Even the tools they used, while simple, were well maintained and efficiently deployed by these skilled hands, demonstrating a systematic approach to every aspect of the monumental task. Part 3: Techniques and Strategies. Moving Mountains of Stone. The journey of a pyramid stone, from its silent slumber in the earth to its final, precise placement in a monumental structure, is a testament to the ancient Egyptians' incredible ingenuity and effective, though seemingly simple, techniques. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, for instance, is estimated to contain approximately 2.3 million stone blocks, each with an average weight of about 2.5 tons. Some of the largest granite blocks, used for the king's chamber and other internal structures, weigh up to 80 tons, the equivalent of about 10 large elephants. Moving these colossal stones from quarries, some located many miles away, and then lifting them hundreds of feet into the air, remains one of the greatest challenges for modern understanding and a profound testament to their engineering prowess. The journey began deep within the earth, in the quarries. Most of the pyramid's core was built from vast quantities of common limestone, quarried directly from the bedrock of the nearby Giza plateau itself. for the higher quality, smooth white limestone used for the dazzling outer casing stones. The material was brought from the Chura quarries, located across the Nile and further south. The even harder and more durable granite, reserved for internal chambers like the King's Chamber sarcophagi and certain crucial structural elements, came from the distant quarries of Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. Workers used a combination of simple but remarkably effective tools: copper chisels for the softer limestone, dolerite pounding stones, a hard, dense rock used to break off the harder granite, and wooden wedges. To extract blocks, workers would meticulously cut channels around the desired stone. Then they would insert wooden wedges into these channels. When these wedges were repeatedly wetted, they would swell with immense force, exerting pressure that would split the rock along natural fault lines, allowing the massive blocks to be separated. Once freed, the blocks were roughly shaped at the quarry site to make them easier to transport, reducing unnecessary weight and bulk for the long journey ahead. Transportation was where the mighty Nile River became Egypt's indispensable highway, a natural artery for their grand construction projects. Limestone from Chura and granite from Aswan were loaded onto massive wooden barges, often lashed together to create larger, more stable rafts during the annual flood season. The inundation caused the Nile to swell dramatically, raising the water level and allowing the heavy vessels to float close to the Giza Plateau's edge, minimizing the arduous overland distance required. Recent archaeological discoveries near the Red Sea, including an ancient harbor and fragmented papyri describing the transport of limestone via boat, have provided invaluable direct evidence, confirming the crucial role of water transport in moving these colossal quantities of stone. Once ashore, the blocks would be hauled from the temporary dock to the construction site. For this land transport, the Egyptians primarily used a combination of sheer human muscle, sturdy wooden sledges, and possibly the ingenious use of water or lubricated sand. Experiments have shown that wetting the sand in front of a sledge significantly reduces friction, allowing fewer men to pull incredibly heavy loads. For very large blocks, hundreds of men would pull in unison, their efforts coordinated by chance and rhythmic movements, guided by the sharp commands of overseers, ensuring a synchronized and efficient pull. The final, and perhaps most fascinating, stage was lifting and positioning these monumental stones. This remains the most debated aspect of pyramid construction, a puzzle that continues to challenge modern engineers. The prevailing theory, supported by archaeological evidence of ramp remnants around pyramid sites, involves the use of ramps. While a single, long straight ramp to the top would have been impractical due to its immense size, other variations are far more plausible. Some propose a ramp that wrapped around the pyramid as it grew, like a winding road, allowing blocks to be pulled up gradually. A fascinating and increasingly accepted theory gaining significant traction among Egyptologists suggests an internal ramp system. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin, for instance, proposes two main ramps, an external straight ramp for the first part of the pyramid's construction, perhaps up to 1/3 of its height, and an internal spiral ramp within the pyramid's core for the upper sections. This internal ramp, with its gentle slope and contained structure, would have allowed blocks to be pulled up in a more protected and efficient manner, utilizing switchbacks at the corners where workers could maneuver the blocks. For the final, incredibly precise positioning of blocks, especially the outer casing stones, which were fitted with astonishing exactitude, techniques involving levers, rocking timbers, and possibly the use of small amounts of water or lubricant to create a slipping effect would have been employed. The outer casing stones, made of fine white Jura limestone, were meticulously dressed and polished to a brilliant sheen after being put in place, creating a dazzling white surface that would have reflected the sun's rays with blinding intensity, making the pyramid visible for miles across the desert landscape. The precision of the pyramids is truly astonishing. The base of the Great Pyramid, for example, is almost perfectly level, within a deviation of only a few centimeters across its vast extent. Its sides are oriented almost exactly to the cardinal points of the compass, true north, south, east, and west, with an accuracy that rivals modern surveying. This suggests advanced astronomical knowledge and sophisticated surveying techniques. They likely used simple but incredibly effective tools, plumb bobs for vertical alignment, set squares for right angles, and sighting poles for long-distance measurements and alignments, relying on the fundamental principle that water always finds its own level for leveling the base. The sheer organization required to coordinate these diverse groups of workers with their specialized tasks across such a vast timeline of decades points to a level of administrative genius perhaps even more remarkable than the engineering itself. Every aspect, from the quarrying of the raw stone to the final placement of the capstone, was a carefully orchestrated symphony of human effort, ingenuity, and unwavering dedication to a divine purpose. Part 4: Enduring Mysteries and Unseen Passages. Despite centuries of intense study, meticulous archaeological excavation, and the application of cutting-edge modern scientific techniques, the pyramids of Giza, especially Khufu's Great Pyramid, continue to guard their secrets, fueling theories that range from the plausible and academically rigorous to the fantastical and conspiratorial. While the general consensus among Egyptologists strongly supports the ramp theories and the use of organized human labor, certain aspects of their construction and internal layout remain tantalizingly elusive, inviting speculation and further exploration. The King's Chamber and its enigmatic air shafts present one such puzzle. Deep within the very heart of Khufu's pyramid lies the King's Chamber, a solemn and unadorned space containing the pharaoh's massive granite sarcophagus. Extending outwards from this chamber are two incredibly narrow shafts, one pointing north and one pointing south. For centuries, these were widely believed to be simple air shafts for ventilation, designed to provide fresh air to the chamber. However, their incredibly small dimensions, only about 8 inches by 8 inches, and their complex, sometimes angled, paths suggest a different, more symbolic or ritualistic purpose. Modern robotic explorations, such as the U-Out projects in the 1990s and the JEDI project in the 2000s, have navigated these shafts, pushing deeper than human explorers could. These robotic probes have revealed small, mysterious doors with copper handles within these shafts, hinting at undiscovered passages or chambers beyond. What lies beyond these doors? Are they merely symbolic, representing a spiritual pathway for the pharaoh's soul to ascend to specific stars or constellations? Or do they lead to a hidden burial chamber that has yet to be found, undiscovered treasures? Or perhaps an ascension passage for the pharaoh's soul, as some ancient texts suggest. The tantalizing possibility of undiscovered rooms and hidden secrets continues to captivate researchers and the public alike, driving new technological explorations. Then there is the Grand Gallery's true function, another architectural enigma. The Great Pyramid also contains this towering, corbelled passage that ascends dramatically towards the King's Chamber. This architectural marvel, with its high, stepped ceiling and intricate design, is far more complex than a simple passageway. Its true purpose remains a matter of intense debate among experts. Some theories suggest it was an integral part of a sophisticated counterweight system designed to lift the immense granite beams, some weighing over 50 tons, that formed the ceiling of the king's chamber into their precise positions. The distinct grooves and holes along its walls could have accommodated timbers and ropes for such a mechanism, allowing massive weights to be lowered to pull the heavy stones upwards. Other theories propose that it was purely ceremonial, a dramatic and awe-inspiring processional way for the pharaoh's funerary procession or for priests performing sacred rituals. Its unique architectural complexity and the sheer effort involved in its construction suggest a significant, perhaps multi-purpose, design that is still not fully understood, inviting continued speculation and research. The precision and alignment of the pyramids are also a source of both awe and persistent speculation. The near-perfect cardinal alignment of the pyramids, with their sides oriented almost exactly to true north, south, east, and west, has often led to speculation about advanced alien technology or the existence of lost super-civilizations that possessed knowledge far beyond what we attribute to the ancient Egyptians. However, Egyptologists explain this remarkable precision through the Egyptians' sophisticated astronomical observation and practical surveying skills. They were keen sky watchers, relying on the movements of circumpolar stars, stars that never set below the horizon, to precisely determine true north. Simple but incredibly effective methods involving a plumb bob, a sighting pole, and careful observation of a star's path as it moved across the night sky could achieve astonishing accuracy. Similarly, the remarkable leveling of the vast pyramid base, within a deviation of only a few centimeters across its immense area, could have been achieved using simple water channels relying on the principle that water always finds its own level, or a system of sighting poles and rulers across the flat bedrock. While incredibly impressive, these feats appear to be the result of meticulous observation, immense organized effort, and the cumulative knowledge passed down over generations, rather than requiring extraterrestrial intervention or lost super technology. Finally, the notion of lost knowledge and the unexplained continues to fuel many fringe theories. Some speculate that the Egyptians must have possessed advanced knowledge or tools that have since been lost to history given the scale and precision of their work. They argue that simple ramps and human muscle alone could not account for such monumental achievements. While specific details of every aspect of their construction techniques are still being pieced together through ongoing archaeological finds and experimental archaeology where modern researchers attempt to replicate ancient methods, the evidence generally points to a pragmatic and empirical approach. The Egyptians learned by doing, iterating on designs, and applying immense, organized human and animal power, combined with their profound understanding of geometry, basic physics, astronomy, and the properties of the materials they worked with. The mystery often stems from our modern tendency to underestimate the capabilities and ingenuity of ancient peoples who operated with different forms of technology, societal organization, and a worldview deeply intertwined with their monumental undertakings. The sheer audacity of their vision and their ability to execute it with the tools they had is, in itself, the greatest marvel, a testament to what a unified civilization, driven by profound belief, can achieve. Part 5. The Enduring Legacy, Monuments to Eternity. The construction of the Great Pyramids, particularly Khufu's, marked the pinnacle of the Old Kingdom's power and a defining moment in ancient Egyptian history. For over 3,800 years, Khufu's pyramid stood as the tallest man-made structure on Earth, a record that would only be surpassed in the late 19th century by the Eiffel Tower. These colossal monuments were not merely engineering marvels, they were central to the Egyptian state's ideology, its economy, and its very social fabric. Their construction provided employment for thousands, fostered a deep sense of national unity and shared purpose, and reinforced the divine authority of the pharaoh, whose eternal journey was inextricably linked to the well-being and prosperity of the entire kingdom. They were the ultimate expression of a civilization's faith in its leaders and its own immortality. Over the millennia, the pyramids have endured the relentless ravages of time, the forces of nature, and the often destructive interventions of human hands. Their gleaming white casing stones, once reflecting the sun like a brilliant beacon across the desert, were largely stripped away in later centuries for building materials, leaving the rougher core structure visible today. They have been explored by adventurers, looted by tomb robbers seeking treasure, and meticulously studied by generations of scholars, yet they continue to inspire awe and wonder. They stand as eternal monuments to a civilization that, armed with simple copper tools, sturdy ropes, wooden sledges, and an unshakable faith in their divine ruler, quite literally moved mountains to ensure his journey to the stars. The legacy of the pyramids extends far beyond the sands of ancient Egypt. They have captivated the imaginations of explorers, scholars, artists, and ordinary people for thousands of years, becoming a universal symbol of mystery, grandeur, and ancient wisdom. They are a testament to the enduring power of human ambition, collective will, and ingenious problem-solving. The Great Pyramid of Khufu remains the last surviving wonder of the ancient world, a silent, awe-inspiring enigma that continues to challenge our assumptions, inspire new research with cutting-edge technology, and stand as a profound symbol of humanity's earliest and most audacious attempts to conquer mortality and touch the heavens. They are a timeless reminder that even with seemingly simple tools, extraordinary feats are possible when driven by profound belief and organized effort, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate across the ages. Part 6: Rituals for the Eternal Journey. The construction of the pyramids was only the first, albeit monumental, step in ensuring the pharaoh's eternal journey. Once the colossal stone edifice was complete, a complex and continuous series of rituals began, designed to activate the pyramid's sacred power, facilitate the pharaoh's passage to the afterlife, and maintain his divine influence over Egypt. These rituals were not mere ceremonies. They were believed to be essential acts that literally sustained the cosmic order and the prosperity of the land. The most significant ritual associated with the completed pyramid was the funerary ceremony itself, a meticulously orchestrated process that began immediately upon the pharaoh's death. His body underwent an elaborate and sacred process of mummification, a procedure that typically lasted for a full 70 days. This lengthy period was not arbitrary. It corresponded to the time it took for the star Sophis Sirius to disappear from the night sky and then reappear, a celestial cycle deeply significant to the Egyptians. The mummification process was overseen by priests, particularly those dedicated to Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming, who wore jackal masks to embody the deity. The process began with the purification of the body, often washed with palm wine and water from the Nile. Then came the critical step of evisceration. First, the embalmers would carefully remove the pharaoh's brain. This was typically done by inserting a long, slender hook through the nostrils, liquefying the brain tissue, and drawing it out. The brain was considered less important than other organs. Next, a long incision, usually on the left side of the abdomen, was made to remove the internal organs, the lungs, liver, stomach, and intestines. Each of these organs was treated separately. The heart, however, was almost always left in place, as it was believed to be the seat of intelligence, emotion, and the soul, essential for judgment in the afterlife before the god Osiris. These removed organs, except for the brain, were then individually dried and preserved in natron, a natural salt, and placed into 4 sacred canopic jars, each protected by one of the 4 sons of Horus, whose lids represented their heads: human Imseti for the liver, baboon Hapi for the lungs, jackal Duamuta for the stomach, and falcon Kebe Senu for the intestines. Next, the body itself was thoroughly cleansed and then packed with large quantities of dry natron salt for about 40 days. This crucial step drew out all moisture from the tissues, preventing decay and effectively preserving the flesh. This dehydration was the most vital part of mummification. After this 40-day drying period, the natron was removed, and the body was cleaned again, often anointed with sacred oils, resins, and fragrant spices, which helped to further preserve the skin and impart a pleasant scent. The empty body cavity was then carefully stuffed with linen, sawdust, or other materials to restore the body's natural form and prevent it from collapsing. Sometimes, even false eyes were inserted to make the mummy appear more lifelike. Finally, the preserved body was meticulously wrapped in hundreds of layers of fine linen bandages, a painstaking process that could take up to 15 days. Each limb, finger, and toe was often wrapped separately, and protective amulets and charms were carefully placed between the layers, believed to ward off evil spirits, provide magical protection, and guide the deceased safely through the dangers of the underworld. As each layer was applied, priests would recite sacred spells and incantations from texts like the pyramid texts for Old Kingdom pharaohs or later the Book of the Dead, to guide and protect the pharaoh on his journey through the dew at the underworld and ensure his rebirth. This physical preservation was paramount, as the Egyptians believed the Ka life force or spiritual double and Ba personality or soul capable of leaving the tomb and returning of the deceased needed a physical vessel to return to and inhabit for eternity. Without the body, the spirit could not endure. Once mummified and entombed in multiple layers of coffins and sarcophagi, the pharaoh's body, along with vast quantities of grave goods, everything from furniture, jewelry, and clothing to food, drink, and even miniature boats and models of servants, was transported in a grand procession from the Valley Temple, located near the Nile, up a long, enclosed causeway to the mortuary temple at the base of the pyramid. This procession was a highly ritualized event, accompanied by priests, professional mourners who wailed and lamented, and elaborate offerings. At the mortuary temple, further purification rites and ceremonies took place, preparing the pharaoh for his final resting place within the pyramid. The most critical ritual performed at the moment of burial was the opening of the mouth ceremony. This ancient rite, often depicted on tomb walls and papyri, was performed by a priest, usually the pharaoh's heir, using special tools resembling adzes. It involved symbolically touching the mouth, eyes, nose, and ears of the pharaoh's mummy or a statue of him. The purpose was to restore the deceased's senses, allowing him to breathe, see, hear, and speak in the afterlife, thus enabling him to partake in offerings and continue his existence. This ritual was believed to reanimate the pharaoh's spirit, allowing him to interact with the gods and fulfill his divine duties. Following the burial, the pyramid's internal passages were sealed with massive stone portcullises and filled with rubble, designed to deter tomb robbers and protect the pharaoh's eternal rest. However, the rituals did not end there. For centuries after the pharaoh's death, A dedicated mortuary cult was maintained at the pyramid complex. Priests, known as servants of the Ka, lived and worked in the mortuary temple, performing daily rituals and offerings. These rituals involved presenting food, drink, and incense to the pharaoh's statue or to the offering table in the temple, ensuring that his Ka was perpetually nourished in the afterlife. These offerings were not just symbolic, they were believed to be essential for the pharaoh's continued existence and his ability to intercede on behalf of Egypt. The mortuary cults were elaborate institutions, supported by vast endowments of land and resources, and their continued operation was a testament to the enduring belief in the pharaoh's divine power and his crucial role in maintaining cosmic order. The pyramid itself was seen as a powerful magical machine, a conduit between the earthly and divine realms. Its precise astronomical alignments, particularly with the circumpolar stars which the Egyptians associated with eternity and the imperishable, were believed to facilitate the pharaoh's stellar ascension. The internal passages and chambers were not just architectural spaces but sacred pathways and symbolic representations of the underworld journey. Every aspect of the pyramid, from its orientation to the inscriptions within its chambers, though Khufu's pyramid is notably sparse in this regard. Later pyramids were filled with pyramid texts, collections of spells and incantations, was imbued with religious significance, designed to ensure the pharaoh's successful transformation into an immortal god and his continued benevolent influence over his kingdom. These rituals, performed diligently for generations, were as vital to the pyramid's purpose as the very stones from which it was built. Part 7. Unearthing Secrets, Mysteries and the Mummy's Curse. For millennia, the pyramids of Giza stood as silent, imposing mountains of stone, their original purpose obscured by the sands of time and the erosion of memory. While generations of Egyptians lived and died in their shadow, the precise details of their construction and the sacred rituals performed within them faded into legend. It was only with the advent of systematic archaeology, particularly in the 19th and 20th centuries, that the true stories began to emerge from the dust, and with them, new mysteries, bizarre moments, and the chilling whispers of a mummy's curse. Imagine the scene in the early 1800s as European excavators, often more adventurous than scientists, began to delve into these colossal structures. The air inside the long sealed passages was thick with the dust of ages, heavy with the scent of ancient resins and the unknown. The flickering light of torches, carried by eager hands, danced across hieroglyphic inscriptions, revealing tantalizing glimpses of a world long past. Early explorers, like Giovanni Battista Belzoni, a former circus strongman turned antiquarian, would often blast their way through blocked passages with gunpowder, their methods crude and destructive by modern standards, yet undeniably effective in gaining access to chambers that had been untouched for thousands of years. The sheer scale of the internal labyrinth, the massive granite blocks forming portcullises designed to thwart intruders, and the profound silence that met them, broken only by their own breathing and the creak of equipment, must have been both exhilarating and deeply unsettling. Each step into the darkness was a step back in time, a trespass into the sacred domain of the dead. The true dramatic tension, however, often came with the moment of opening the coffins and revealing the mummies within. The initial layer might be a massive stone sarcophagus, often weighing many tons, intricately carved and sometimes adorned with gold. With immense effort, using ropes and levers, the heavy lid would be slowly raised, revealing the next layer. Inside, there could be multiple nested wooden coffins, each more elaborately decorated than the last, painted with vibrant scenes of the afterlife and protective deities, until finally, the innermost coffin, perhaps gilded or inlaid with precious stones, would reveal the mummified remains of the pharaoh or noble. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of thousands of years of preservation, a direct confrontation with eternity. The sight of a perfectly preserved face, eyes closed in eternal slumber after such a vast span of time, was often described as deeply moving, a direct, visceral connection to a distant past. Yet, it was also a moment fraught with unspoken fears, for ancient texts and popular folklore alike warned of dire consequences for disturbing the sacred dead. The most famous bizarre moment and the origin of the pervasive mummy's curse phenomenon in the popular imagination came not from a pyramid, but with the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922 by the British archaeologist Howard Carter and his patron, the wealthy aristocrat Lord Carnarvon. While Tutankhamun's tomb was nestled in the Valley of the Kings, its discovery ignited a global obsession with ancient Egypt and its supposed curses, forever cementing the idea in the public consciousness. The tomb was almost entirely intact, a treasure trove of unimaginable riches, golden masks, glittering jewelry, chariots, and countless artifacts, offering an unprecedented glimpse into a pharaoh's burial. However, shortly after the tomb's opening, a series of seemingly inexplicable deaths and misfortunes befell members of the excavation team and those associated with it, fueling the sensational headlines. Lord Carnarvon himself died just 5 months after the tomb's opening from a mosquito bite that became infected, leading to blood poisoning. The timing was eerily coincidental. Adding to the mystique, it was widely reported that at the precise moment of his death, lights in Cairo mysteriously flickered and went out, and his beloved terrier in England let out a mournful howl and then suddenly died. Other strange occurrences followed in quick succession. A close friend of Carnarvon died suddenly from pneumonia. A radiologist who x-rayed the mummy fell ill and died, and even a canary belonging to Carter was supposedly eaten by a cobra, an animal strongly associated with ancient Egyptian royalty and protection. The press, eager for sensational stories and fueled by the public's fascination with the supernatural, quickly latched onto these coincidences, propagating the dramatic narrative of a mummy's curse that protected the pharaoh's eternal rest from intruders. The idea was that anyone who disturbed the pharaoh's slumber would face divine retribution, a chilling warning from the ancient world. While modern science offers perfectly rational explanations for these events, pre-existing health conditions, exposure to ancient molds or bacteria within the sealed tomb, or simply the statistical inevitability of coincidence among a large group of people, the mystique of the curse captured the public's imagination and refused to die. It tapped into a deep-seated human fear of disturbing the sacred dead and the unknown powers of ancient civilizations, a primal unease that resonated far beyond the scientific explanations. The tales of the curse, though fictional, served as a powerful reminder of the profound spiritual significance the Egyptians themselves placed on their tombs and the afterlife. It highlighted the tension between scientific curiosity, which sought to uncover and understand, and the ancient belief systems that had created these monumental structures, which sought to preserve and protect. For the dedicated archaeologists, however, the allure was not the curse, but the unparalleled opportunity to unravel the secrets of a lost world, to touch the tangible remnants of a civilization obsessed with eternity, and to finally understand the grand endeavor of the pyramids. Part 8. The Sands of Time and Modern Discovery. As the Old Kingdom waned, and the centralized power of the pharaohs diminished, the era of Grand Pyramid construction gradually drew to a close. Later pharaohs, facing different political and economic realities, opted for smaller, less ambitious pyramids, and eventually for hidden tombs in places like the Valley of the Kings. Over the vast expanse of millennia, the Giza pyramids, though never truly lost, slowly began to succumb to the relentless forces of time and human intervention. The once gleaming white casing stones, which had made the pyramids shimmer like jewels in the desert sun, became a tempting quarry for later builders. Over centuries, much of this precious Jura limestone was systematically stripped away, reused for mosques, palaces, and other structures in Cairo, leaving the rougher, stepped core of the pyramids exposed to the elements much as we see them today. The pyramids, once vibrant centers of a living mortuary cult, became silent, weathered monuments, their temples slowly crumbling into ruin, their purpose gradually fading from common memory, replaced by legend and awe. For centuries, the pyramids stood as colossal, enigmatic mounds, their original purpose and the genius of their construction largely forgotten by the local populations, replaced by folklore and tales of hidden treasures. They became a symbol of ancient mystery, attracting travelers, scholars, and treasure hunters from across the globe. Arab chroniclers and early European explorers, though often awestruck, could only marvel at their sheer scale and speculate about their builders. The internal passages, once sealed, were eventually breached, first by ancient tomb robbers, then by later caliphs like Al-Ma'mun in the 900s, who famously tunneled into Khufu's pyramid seeking riches. While much of the valuable grave goods had long since vanished, the pyramids continue to hold the allure of the unknown. The true awakening to the scientific study of these marvels began with the Napoleonic expedition to Egypt in 1798. Imagine the sight: French soldiers, guided by the insatiable curiosity of Napoleon Bonaparte, marching into the desert, not just with muskets, but with an army of scholars, scientists, and artists, the savants. These dedicated individuals meticulously documented every detail of the ancient monuments, including the pyramids, with a precision never before seen. Their comprehensive work, published in the monumental description de l'Egypte, filled volumes with intricate drawings, maps, and observations. This meticulous record provided the first detailed and accurate surveys of the Giza Plateau, sparking a new era of Egyptology and scientific inquiry across Europe. This expedition, though a military failure for Napoleon, was a profound triumph for the understanding of ancient Egypt, finally opening its wonders to the academic world and shifting the perception of these structures from mere curiosities to invaluable historical texts written in stone. The 19th century then saw a surge in archaeological interest, transforming the pursuit from treasure hunting to systematic excavation. Early excavators, often driven by a mix of scientific curiosity and a desire for valuable artifacts, began to clear the vast mounds of sand that had accumulated around the pyramids, revealing their hidden bases and the remains of their surrounding complexes. They meticulously explored their internal structures, often in challenging and dangerous conditions. Figures like Giovanni Battista Belzoni, a former circus strongman, explored the pyramids and tombs in the early 1800s, his sheer force and determination allowing him to penetrate areas previously inaccessible, though his methods were often crude and destructive by modern standards. Yet, his daring paved the way for others. Later, more scientific approaches began to emerge, characterized by careful documentation and preservation. The work of British Egyptologist Flinders Petrie in the late 19th century was particularly groundbreaking. He conducted meticulous surveys of the Giza pyramids, taking precise measurements down to fractions of an inch, and applying rigorous scientific methods to his excavations. His painstaking work, beginning in the 1880s, laid the absolute foundation for modern archaeological understanding of their construction, finally dispelling many myths and providing concrete evidence for the incredible accuracy and engineering prowess of the ancient builders. Petri's legacy was a shift towards systematic, data-driven archaeology. As the 20th and 21st centuries dawned, archaeological investigation became even more sophisticated, embracing new technologies and interdisciplinary approaches. Excavations around the pyramids have uncovered the vast workers' villages, complete with their bakeries, communal areas, and cemeteries, providing unprecedented insights into the daily lives, diets, and even medical care of the pyramid builders, definitively challenging the old slave narrative. Beyond the spade and brush, non-invasive technologies have revolutionized our ability to see inside these ancient structures without disturbing them. Ground-penetrating radar maps subterranean features. Muon radiography uses cosmic rays to detect hidden voids within the massive stone, and thermal imaging reveals anomalies that could indicate concealed chambers. The Scan Pyramids project, for instance, has used cosmic ray muons to detect a previously unknown massive void within Khufu's Great Pyramid, a discovery that has reignited excitement and speculation about potential undiscovered secrets, proving that even after millennia, these giants still hold surprises. Today, the pyramids of Giza stand not only as monuments to the pharaohs but also as enduring symbols of human ingenuity, perseverance, and the timeless quest to understand our past. They continue to draw millions of visitors from around the world, inspiring awe and reminding us of the profound achievements of a civilization that, millennia ago, dared to build structures for eternity. They are a constant invitation to look deeper, to question, and to continue the endless journey of discovery, a testament to the enduring power of human curiosity and the silent, majestic narrative etched in stone. Part 9: An Eternal Echo, the Pyramid's Lasting Impact. As our journey through the grand endeavor of the pyramids draws to a close, we are left not just with a tale of ancient stone and human might, but with a profound understanding of their enduring impact on our history and our lives. From the sun-drenched plains of Giza, these colossal monuments cast a long, timeless shadow, reaching across millennia to touch the very fabric of our modern world. We began with the divine decree, the unshakable belief that compelled Pharaoh Khufu to command the construction of his eternal dwelling. It was a vision born of deep religious conviction, a cosmic necessity to ensure his passage to the afterlife and, by extension, the prosperity of all Egypt. This fundamental purpose, the very why of the pyramids, reminds us of the powerful role that faith and ideology can play in shaping human endeavor on an unimaginable scale. We then witnessed the immense, organized effort of the pyramid builders, not slaves, as popular myth often dictates, but a dedicated army of skilled Egyptians, motivated by duty, national pride, and a shared belief in their divine king. Their well-provisioned villages, their medical care, and their meticulous organization stand as a testament to the administrative genius of the Old Kingdom, a blueprint for large-scale projects that resonates even today in our own complex societies. The story of their labor challenges us to re-evaluate our understanding of ancient civilizations, recognizing their sophistication and the dignity of their workers. The very how of their construction, from the quarrying of millions of tons of stone to their transportation by river and land, and their precise placement using ingenious ramp systems, continues to inspire and perplex. The precision of their alignment with the stars, the near-perfect leveling of their bases, these feats, achieved with rudimentary tools, speak volumes about the Egyptians' astronomical knowledge, their mathematical understanding, and their sheer perseverance. They challenge us to consider what is truly possible when human ingenuity is combined with unwavering dedication, reminding us that complex problems can often be solved with elegant, seemingly simple solutions. And then, there are the enduring mysteries, the enigmatic air shafts hinting at undiscovered passages, the true function of the Grand Gallery, and the tantalizing possibility of secrets yet to be revealed within their stone hearts. These unanswered questions continue to fuel our curiosity, driving modern archaeologists and scientists to employ cutting-edge technologies like muon radiography, pushing the boundaries of discovery without disturbing the ancient structures. The Mummy's Curse, though a product of sensationalism, adds a layer of bizarre fascination, a fictional echo of the profound spiritual significance the Egyptians themselves placed on their sacred burials. The pyramids, therefore, are more than just ancient ruins. They are living testaments to human ambition, resilience, and the relentless quest for meaning. They stand as a universal symbol of grandeur, mystery, and ancient wisdom, inspiring architects, artists, and dreamers across the globe. They remind us of the incredible achievements possible when a society is unified by a common purpose and driven by profound belief. In our modern lives, they serve as a powerful historical anchor connecting us to a distant past, challenging our assumptions about what ancient peoples were capable of, and inviting us to continue exploring the depths of human history and ingenuity. They are a constant invitation to look deeper, to question, and to continue the endless journey of discovery, forever echoing the whispers of an eternal past.